Today I want to talk about money. This video isn't to boast at all, and to be quite honest, there's not very much to boast about considering I don't make all that much money. The hope of this video is that you learn something that will help you on your financial journey. So to start, I make about $21,000 less than the average single person in my zip code. Let that sink in for a second. I make $21,000 less on average than my neighbors. Ouch. This doesn't mean that I'm not educated or I have an awful job or I don't buy anything at all. In fact, I save quite a bit of money, I have a pretty rad job, and I also have a degree. This year, my car decided to take a shit, so I decided to buy a new car, and I ended up with a 2011 Subaru Outback with 100,000 miles. It was $10,000, and I paid for it in cash. I also still had money in my savings account for emergencies, which ended up being a really good thing considering most of us, including myself, lost our jobs either indefinitely or temporarily. I'm fortunate enough to be back at work full-time, but it was definitely a rough few months of not having a job, so it was a really great thing to have savings. A few years back, I graduated with a degree in business sports management with a minor in entrepreneurial studies, and surprisingly, I don't use it. To be more clear, I have a job right now where I don't actually need my degree in order to hold the job. With that being said, I was super fortunate to come out of college with no debt, and I ended up starting a job at $13 an hour right out of college. Needless to say, my parents probably weren't super proud of me back then. But anyways, I work for the same company now, and I basically started at the bottom, worked my way up, and now I'm lucky enough to manage a really rad team of people. In the grand scheme of things, I don't make very much money, but that doesn't hold me back from living an extremely fulfilling life. If you only take away one thing from this video, it should be that you have to set yourself up for success. You are the master of your own life, and if you don't like something, change it. I used to make $13 an hour living in San Diego. That obviously isn't very sustainable considering how much the cost of living is there. I busted my butt for a work transfer and a promotion, and now I live in a place with a significantly lower cost of living. There is so much to do here, there's great access to the outdoors, and honestly, my life is just way better. Not to say that I didn't love living in San Diego, but in terms of finances, I really scraped by, and that's not how I want to live. So step one, change it up if you need to. Whether that means getting a job that pays more, moving to a place that costs less, busting your butt to get a promotion, just start there. There are really only three options. Make more money, lower your expenses, or if you're happy where you're at, don't change your circumstances. Change how your money gets to you. This is a concept called paying yourself first. The way I see it, you just divvy up your money before the money hits your bank account. If your paycheck comes as a direct deposit, you should have access to splitting up your pay. So here are some things to think about: retirement, savings account, bills, and fun money. I personally put away 10% into a Roth IRA that I have through my employer. You could also opt for a Roth IRA or something of the sort if you don't have access to a 401k. If you don't know the difference between those two, I'd recommend a quick Google search. Graham Stephan has really good videos out there on Roth IRA versus 401k, and if you do a little bit of research, you should be able to figure out what's best for you. Now let's move on to bills. This one is honestly pretty simple. Just add up everything that is a consistent cost every single month. For me, this includes rent, my phone bill, my car insurance, and utilities. Maybe for you, this also includes a car payment, monthly subscriptions, or anything of the sort. If you get paid bi-weekly like I do, you can divide this number in half and put it into your sub-savings account. On payday, I have $404 automatically go into a sub-savings account for all of my bills. If you set up all your bills on auto pay, this makes it really easy because it'll just pull from that sub-savings account, and then you never have to worry about whether or not you have enough money for rent. Because I set this money aside and I basically never have to look at it, I know that all of my necessities are covered, and that's a big weight off my shoulders. For your normal savings account, you get to decide how much money goes into here. You can start small if you need to. For example, right out of college when I was making $13 an hour, I only put $50 per paycheck aside. Depending on where you're at with your finances, $50 might seem like a lot of money, or it might seem like no money at all. But again, you get to decide how much money goes into your savings. You can simply try it out for one paycheck, and if it seems like too much money, you can make the number smaller. And if it seems like not enough money, you can just make the number bigger. Pretty simple. All of the leftover money after this can go into your checking account. That's going to be for food and any fun things that you want to do in the 2 weeks before you get another paycheck. So if we break it down for my specific finances, this is what it looks like on a bi-weekly basis. 10% goes to my retirement fund, $404 goes into my sub-savings account for bills, $250 goes into a savings account, and the rest gets put into my checking. At the end of my paycheck, right before I'm about to get another paycheck, If I have any money left over in my checking account, that just goes straight back into my savings. I hope that information wasn't too overwhelming. I know there's a lot of variables involved, but if you take one afternoon to make a budget for yourself and set it up automatically, you'll save yourself a lot of headache and you'll really thank yourself later, especially when you can buy your first car in cash or you can put a down payment on a house. Those are really big things that are totally attainable, even if you don't make very much money. Do yourself a favor and set yourself up for success. I promise you'll thank yourself later. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you guys next time.